Welcome back. Let's also get to the management of Prestige Estates. Irfan Razack is joining us this morning. Good morning, Mr. Razack. Lots to talk about. First, the expectations going into the budget with so many disruptions that have been seen and felt by the sector. What's on your wish list?
See, now, first of all, the government should realize that the real estate sector gives a huge amount of employment to the bottom of the pyramid. It actually provides that employment. It's a GDP churner. This activity actually really helps motivate and move the wheels of the economy, and also helps several, maybe 200 plus ancillary industries. And this sector needs to get back its mojo. Now, let us look at what is really going wrong, where is things are not happening. Firstly, I believe that now, of course, now we've got the regulator in place, and with the regulator in place and all the systems in place, I think things should get better and better from here. But we need to really see how this sector can again bounce back. There is some inventory in different cities and different levels, of course, at different prices. The affordable sector, the mid-income sector is still doing very well. But what is lacking today is that lack of confidence or the lack of trust amongst the buyers because of various reasons. It could be a failure of certain developers not delivering, failure of, for various reasons. It could be many reasons. And that lack of confidence has set in, and that confidence has to be brought back. The trust has to be brought back. And then the government, what can the government do from its side? I mean, as usual, I don't want to again use the cliche thing of saying, listen, you need to give this cut, that cut, you need to reduce this. Because really speaking, the government also does not have that type of leisure in the sense of giving a whole lot of benefits. But a few things that can be tweaked and can be set right is to encourage this sector. Firstly is, now there are a few things that have been done in the recent past which needs to be corrected. First is, you see, you have some tax on vacant property. If you've got a house, you have not occupied it, there is deemed income tax. Now that is pretty draconian. That can be looked into and that can be done away with. The other thing is, for developers, there is a tax on inventory held by them. As it is, the developers suffering the huge interest cost holding inventories, not because the developers feeling good holding that inventory, it's just that because of market circumstances, the inventory is there. And then again, over on top of that, you tax it. It is a little injustice. And the third thing that can be done is encourage home buying by allowing the long-term capital gains. Instead of reinvesting into one house, it could be several houses. If you've got a long-term gain and you want to get an exemption, it need not be buying one house, you could buy 2, 3 or even 4 houses. That will encourage home buying, and then the money will get churned. And one more thing that could be done is, apart from all this, allow the interest that the genuine home buyer pays to owning his home. Now, of course, there is a cap of 1,50,000.
Right.
Whether that can be done away with, and then the entire interest should be given a free deduction.
Right.
These things can really get back the mojo into the home buying, apart from the developers themselves bringing the confidence back by building the trust.
Okay, my follow-up question is that whatever is happening in real estate sector, do you think a player like Prestige is in a very sweet spot because you got access to global capital, your brand has become stronger, the smaller players have not delivered, there is a RERA compulsion, but that is how economics work, right? I mean, the part of Mumbai where we are right now, it was mill land 25 years ago, now there are malls. The survivor of the fittest. Do you think that is happening in real estate sector, and a company like Prestige is in a sweet spot?
I mean, I think not only Prestige, any developer who's doing his job right can be in the sweet spot, who's doing the job professionally, who's got into the business seriously, who looks after their customers, whose main focus is to see the delivery happens, whose main focus is to see that you satisfy your customer, and it's not something short-sighted but long-sighted. Of course, RERA is doing its thing. I won't say big players or small players because that will be wrong. I would say all players who are doing their job properly, passionately, in the right way, whether in a small way or in a large way, and doing it right and build their brand in bit by bit. I think those are the players that definitely will succeed, and there's no way that they will be in any sort of stress. Of course, now the situation in the market is liquidity being what it is, and if somebody has overtraded and moved funds from one place to the other, of course RERA has corrected that, but RERA is just is its infancy, it's just about a year plus old. But going forward, I believe this will stabilize the market. It will also bring in a lot of consolidation, and I can see it happening. It's happening faster than anybody expected. But then this is part of the whole, I think, scenario.
The income tax rebate limit on home loan interest may increase from the current 2 lakhs. Do you see this, being somewhat of a boost to the residential market? Secondly, the government's also considering increasing capital gains exemptions on more than 2 houses. Would this again help in terms of making real estate an attractive investment destination again?
It will. You see, what will happen is liquidity comes in from sale of some asset which somebody wants to replace. Now, there are many customers who come in and they want to somehow see that they don't land up paying a huge amount of tax. So there's an exemption just now. If you can buy one more house and replace it, but then what really happens is maybe the gains are actually far larger and they just can't buy one house and then still get the benefit of the income tax exemption. So I believe that if you allow that exemption for several houses, it will increase the attraction, it will increase the activity for buying homes. And secondly, as I said, this tax for vacant property, if I bought a home and I have a second home or a third home and I do not want to rent it out because for various reasons, maybe because I just would like to keep it and not have the hassle of getting a tenant evicted when I want the place for myself or my family, and I have to pay deemed income tax. That wasn't there about 2-3 years ago. It's been brought in. I don't know how much revenue government gets from it, but I believe that will be too small an amount for the overall the good feel that will come into the market.
Sure. Okay, what about, in terms of just the overall outlook for the year, do you see consolidation helping, to curb that supply inventory? Do you feel that 2020 we are going to start to see some kind of revival on that end?
See, consolidation is bound to happen. It is happening. But at the same time, there is activity. People are buying. But who are they buying from? They are buying from reputed brands. They are buying from reputed developers who they have trust in, who they believe, who have a track record of delivering end on end. And the other part is that now the government has announced the stress funds. That will infuse a lot of liquidity. It will allow developers who got caught in a trap where the sales were not happening and the liquidity wasn't there to complete the projects. Now those projects will get completed. Once they are completed and shined up, that inventory will come into the market, and I'm sure that will get sold. But one thing we must realize now is that the activity is all the activity that is happening is in the mid-income, lower mid-income group, and the luxury segment is a niche market. There's not too much traction there, but it does sell. But the number of players, number of buyers are few, and that's again a state of the economy, the health of the economy. Once the health of the economy does well and people are earning more and more money, obviously that sector also will pick up. Right now here, housing is a need in an Indian context. It will continue to remain a need. If I'm able to give a good product with good lifestyle facilities at a very reasonable price, business will happen, and this is a realization that should come across to all developers.
Sir Razack, always a pleasure to have you, and thank you for joining us.